Hello friends, hope you're all doing well. Welcome back to more CSGO news. What's up guys? How's it going? I just had a sip of caffeine. I'm ready to go for a second CSGO video for today. This one being all around several topics, which will be timestamped down below if you guys want to jump around from story to story. The first one is a bit of a refresher to actually hear. That's going to be from Yell on Team INTZ. If you guys don't know, that's kNg's teammate and fellow member of Team INTZ as well that has actually made the major, and they have finally spoken out about rumors about kNg potentially joining MiBR, or at least leaving that roster. Whether it does happen or not, here are one of his teammates' thoughts, and I thought it was really nice to hear.
We all love each other, and if it's the best for him to go, nobody's gonna be like mad or something. We're like a family in INTZ, all the players and the coach, and we want to win together. And he also said that his dream is to put INTZ on the major, and we're really close to that. And if he goes to MiBR, I want him to go, but play the major first with us, you know.
So whether or not it is happening, whether or not they do well at the major, you know, despite all of that, it's really nice to see teammates not really caring too much. They are a family, they are that close of friends, and especially if you saw them at the third place minor play-in, their reaction when they made the major, you can tell how close these guys are. So it's super nice to see some nice things being said about teammates potentially leaving by their other fellow teammates. Now, a big debate out there as of probably the last week or so has been the other Brazilians, that being MiBR, some of their members actually talking to the Brazilian president or responding to them on Twitter and following himself, having a call with him. It was actually first last week, Taco had a response really quickly from the Brazilian president when he responded to his tweet, and the president responded back. And then just earlier this week, it was actually Fallen on call with him, talking about lowering taxes, I do believe, in the Brazilian scene. I'm not going to jump into details about this because it's seemingly very controversial to have any player out there supporting any presidential figure. As we all know, a lot of presidential figures out there are in themselves very controversial in all of their beliefs, all of their standpoints. It's hard to find the perfect president. So whenever an esport player or a player that we know about is associated with a president, as you can imagine, if let's say Steele was talking to President Trump, it'd be controversial in some sense because there is really no one perfect out there. And Trump, much like the Brazilian president, faces a lot of backlash for his beliefs and some of the things, or a lot of the things he does say. So despite all of that, we're not going to get into details or finites, guys. It's great for esports though to see these players have so much impact in the Brazilian scene. It's big for Brazil if he can get anything going. It's big for esports, and especially big for Brazilian esports and CSGO to have this team. You know, they brought in Neymar, they brought in other big football players, and it's just cool, okay? It's cool they got the attention. Yeah, I don't really know all of his beliefs, and I'm sure some of them are actually very controversial, maybe not the best beliefs, but the fact that we have esports people, we have people that are now famous for playing video games, talking to a president, it's cool. We'll leave it at that. You guys can judge on your own time. And the third story in CSGO news today, guys, this one is a tough one. Let's bring it in. Let's bring it in real close to the microphone, just like this, right where I have you guys, right where I want you. I'm right in your ears right now talking about the Big Clan roster, and to be honest, guys, I have no idea what the future of Big Clan is because it's very confusing thanks to apparently CS German leaks, one of the newer leaking accounts out there, and especially when it comes to German CS, they apparently leaked the brand new big roster, which would mean two players would now come back, that being Smuya. We've had the debate about this, apparently going to be for a short amount of time. He could be going to North America. He could just be a temporary fill-in for Big Clan as they look for other replacements from potentially Sprout or other German teams out there. A few of the German teams still remaining with players they could even want. Alongside him, though, Lagia would also be joining this roster. It would be Gabi and Dennis out, which I think it's going to, again, it's a very, very weird situation. No one is denying that, guys, that Big is currently in. Gabi, apparently, according to other rumors previously, is not going to be coaching the team. So we're going to have Gabi and Dennis out. I think a lot of people are supporting Dennis leaving, but is Lagia going to be an improvement to this roster? We're not really sure. And then very lastly, it does actually tell us that next we'll be back to this roster if he actually heals up, he'll be replacing Lagia then, which would make a bit more sense. But now on this roster, you have Kakafu, you have a secondary coach as well in Tao, and potentially other players that are now on the bench but are still under contract. You have a 7 to 8 person roster, plus at least 2 coaches, maybe an analyst, for a team who failed to make the major and is certainly trying to rebound around this Xanter's pickup. Yes, you are just as confused as I am what their future might be, and especially when it comes to the fact they are replacing IGL. Yes, the last 7 months, he has not been the best IGL, but he's certainly one of the more well-established ones they have had in their ranks. So the loss of Gabi and filling that IGL role will add to all those difficulties. This is just a leak as well. It could be completely wrong. Take it with a grain of salt, but Big still has big problems. Yo, I kind of went off that segment, dude. That felt good to talk about. You know what's not going to feel good to talk about? This next one. Syman Gaming now being asked by Starlighter to potentially actually change their logo for the major. Now, don't get me wrong, guys. The logos, when you change them enough, thanks to Fishy Dude on Twitter, they do look very similar, but hear me out as to exactly why. Apparently, it's actually Starlighter asking them because it's a bit of a controversial logo when compared to the Immortals logo, not the actual Immortals logo, but who they own, that being the Gamers Club. Those logos are a bit more similar. Now, despite the fact, though, Immortals will not be at the major, and Gamers Club is not an organization, so they will never be at the major, Syman is being asked to potentially remake their logo. Now, my thoughts on this is, yes, Gamers Club was actually established back in 2015, 2016. Immortals then acquired them just earlier this year as well. So their logo does have precedence, and it was first before Syman actually made theirs in 2018. So from a legal standpoint, if it actually comes down to plagiarism, yes, they'll have to change their logo, which I'm not too worried about. I think it's only a bit iffy because the fact that, you know, Gamers Club is not an organization ever going to be in CSGO, and they'll never have their logo used probably ever again. But, you know, they were made first, so I guess legally, if it does hold up, it does hold up. At the very least, though, worst comes to worst, what? Syman changes their logo. Their logo is not that appealing for stickers anyway. They could come back with a rebrand like we've seen many teams do, and they could be way better for stickers. So worst comes to worst. It's a bit of an iffy situation. I understand the debate on both sides, but, you know, worst thing comes, Syman gets a better logo out of this, and I wish them the best of luck because the only bad thing about that is I'm sure the deadline is pretty tight. So if anyone wants to help out to Syman, feel free to tweet at them, and I'm sure they'll take your help if they do need to remake that logo. And another very small news out there, the last story is going to be quite a bit bigger than this one, guys. We'll probably expand on that last story tomorrow as well because I'm going to try and squeeze out one more CSGO video before I leave this weekend, because I'm going to be gone when the Boomich story breaks, as many of you guys are aware if you watched my last couple of videos. This one, though, being, speaking of Boomich, his former teammates, or at least a few of them, that being some ex-Winstrike and QBF members, are now joining up for a brand new team in the CIS region known as EXTREMUM. Now, their roster on screen as well for all of you guys, not going to be stunningly impressive. These are old-timers, and I say old-timers as in, you know, they didn't really work out on their roster, so now they're going to combine together to make some sort of better roster. I'm not hopeful on it, but their announcement for all of this was very peculiar. If you went to their website called ourway.gg, they had all the players in what they called these jail cells. Not really, not in real life, but then you clicked on their profile, and the profile with the most clicks was released first from their jail cell, and that's how they released their individual player profiles. According to the website, 700 million clicks, which I don't think is possible, or maybe I'm totally wrong here, but either way, a very weird announcement for a very strange team in the CIS scene, I should say, and we'll see if Boombles and Boomich's ex-teammates should actually come together and make a better team, which I'm not really high hopes on. Now, very lastly, though, and some huge news out there, guys, that being Astralis has now been sold outside of Refresh Entertainment and is no longer held by that group. They're not going to be held in a separate group called, I think it's like Astralis Group, something. It's different, okay, guys? Now, Astralis and Refresh are separately owned, and there's no more conflict of interest. It's actually Jacob and Nicola. Sorry if I mispronounced one of those names, guys. They were actually the former higher-ups for Refresh. They will be leaving Refresh and retain those same roles in Astralis's new holding group. So now Refresh, who owns Blast Pro and runs Blast Pro Series, is operated separately completely from that of Astralis and their holdings, guys. And no person who owns shares or holdings or ownership in one group can own it in the other. So that means the conflict of interest should be gone, and we all should be happy. I'll probably break it down here tomorrow again for more details for all of you guys, but I would say good work. You know, that's what we wanted, so we really can't complain too much. So yeah, pretty sick. Okay, guys, that was it for CSGO news. I hope you guys enjoyed, and it was a really fun episode. It was a really solid episode, and thank you guys always for watching. You guys have been amazingly supporting me in the comment section, and it really made my day. And I'll be doing a react to comments sometime soon because you guys really made my day. Like, you guys were way too nice to me today. So much love to all of you guys. I'll see you back here tomorrow breaking down other esports and CSGO news. Until then, take care, drink coffee. I'll see you guys soon. You don't have to be lonely at farmersonly.com.